YouTube, it is me again, your favorite Texas trucker, and I am in Wisconsin, headed to O'Connell Falls. Stopped earlier today to fuel up at Love's and take a shower. Feel a whole lot better after getting the shower. But I wanted to, take a moment to make another one of my trucker health videos, and this time I want to talk about some things to stay away from. Alright, if you've got health issues, high blood pressure, diabetes, if you're overweight, out of shape, and you're wanting to get your life back together again, and honestly, I think that you need to take control of it, because the FMCSA and the federal government are really pushing a lot harder for healthier drivers, and they're trying to make it harder and harder for you to pass your DOT physicals. And they're going to slowly start pushing out those people that have all these health problems that are uncontrollable. So you really need to get a hold of it, and not just for the sake of your job, but for the sake of your own well-being and for the sake of your family. You need to get a hold of it. And if this is something that you're wanting to do, I know that it's not going to be an easy road. I'll tell you that right off the bat. If you're overweight, you didn't get overweight overnight. That didn't happen because you went home and ate a pizza. That didn't happen, in one day, and it's not going to be a one-day correction. It's not going to be something that you're going to fix overnight. You're going to have to take steps, and you're going to have to be consistent. You're going to have to be committed, and you're going to have to make some sacrifices from what you're accustomed to eating. I want you to think for a second, and I may have said this in my first video. I'm not positive, but I want you to think for a second, and just consider that back in the 1800s, back in the 1700s, even in the early 1900s, all the way up till about World War II, we didn't really have an obesity problem. We didn't have all these health issues. Now, granted, in the 1700s and the 1800s, we didn't have a whole lot of medical advancements either. So we did have smallpox, and we did have the Black Plague, and we did have quite a few really serious diseases that ran rampant and unchecked, but we didn't have the health problems that we have today. And I want you to consider that today, the health, we have such an obesity problem, and such a high blood pressure, cardiovascular, cholesterol issues going on today. It's worse than any time in the history of man. And the reason for that is because of how we eat, how we decide to gain nutrition, or how we decide to gain sustenance. Back in the old times, the 1800s, 1700s, and beyond, we ate all natural. Everything that we had was natural. There was nothing processed. Our meats, of course, that was natural. We had our breads were all handmade, without a bunch of additives, and they were consumed before they went bad. Our vegetables were fresh; they weren't canned. So we didn't have all the preservatives added to it. Everything was handmade from scratch. Everything was natural. It came out of the ground, or it came, from an animal. And we were a healthy people. We had, we didn't have the obesity problems that we have today. But today, you go into any store and you've got, cupcakes and pastries and pies and donuts and sugary drinks like Coke and Dr. Pepper and ices, you've got white bread, which it's completely lacking in any kind of nutritional value. Anything made with a bleached flour is no good for you. Everything is sweet. Everything is high in carbohydrates. Everything is packed with sugar, or high fructose corn syrup, or whatever the case on the road, you know, a lot of times we make decisions on what to eat based on convenience. You know, we stop for a fuel stop, we go inside, you know, we grab something quick from one of the one of the fast food joints, you know, or off the kiosk, you know, in the truck stop, you know, and most of what they have there for us to eat, you know, it's not healthy, it's not good for you, but, you know, we eat it anyway, and deep down inside, we know it's not good for you. You know, if you've ever seen the show Super Size Me, you know, about the guy that ate nothing but McDonald's for a month, you see the decline in his health in just that month's period of time, the amount of weight that he gained, and, you know, and all that kind of stuff. You know, McDonald's was just the subject of his study, but, you know, they're all the same. You know, all of the fast food places are the same. Even Subway's not really good for you. The meats are all processed and full of additives and full of preservatives. You know, the breads are you know, very high in carbohydrates. The dressings that they put on your sandwiches are super high in fat and sugar, you know, as well as sodium. You know, it's not that good for you. I mean, people think they're making a really healthy choice by going to Subway, but it's really not that healthy of a choice. So there's quite a few things that you should stay away from if you really want to get your stuff under control. First, stay away from anything made with bleached flour. That means white breads, rolls, biscuits, you know, stuff like that. Bleached flour is no good for you. All the nutrients have been removed from it, you know, and it's no good. Instead, if you have to have bread, honestly, until you get your stuff under control, you should abstain from bread at all. But if you have to have bread, use whole wheat. Make sure it says that it's 100% whole grain bread. If not, you know, and you want to look at the ingredients in the bread. The first 5 ingredients are the major ingredients in the bread. That's what the bread consists of mostly. All right, that's what is in the bread in high quantity. You know, and so if you look in the first 5 ingredients, there's, let's say, high fructose corn syrup. You know, you don't want that bread. Or if there is, you know, bleached white flour, you don't want that bread. You know, if they use a white flour, you want unbleached flour. You know, and you want wheat flour. Dark breads like pumpernickel rye. Pumpernickel rye is actually pretty good for you. You know, so stick with whole grain and dark breads. You know, they're better for you. But honestly, until you get your stuff under control, you should abstain from bread at all, because even the healthy breads are very high in carbohydrates. Next is any type of sweet, even if it's made with Splenda or a sugar substitute. You want to, you know, the stuff that's sugar-free, you can take it in moderation, you know, kind of as a treat here and there, but it's still not something you want to eat all the time. Contrary to popular belief, Splenda really is not good for you. It has been linked to liver failure, and it's been linked to several different types of cancers. So you want to be careful about the amount of Splenda you take. The object is to train your taste buds to not desire and not need all of that sweet stuff all of the time. When you use Splenda, all you're doing is substituting one sweet for another sweet, and your taste buds never learn to adapt to a natural type of food. So avoid any type of sweets, pastries, candy bars, you know, donuts, you know, all that kind of stuff. You know, I mean, avoid all that. And if you feel like that you need a candy to get that little sweet in your mouth every now and again, make sure you choose a sugar-free candy. But at the same time, use it in moderation. You know, don't buy a bag of sugar-free candy and eat the whole damn thing in a day. You're not doing nothing but feeding that that craving for that sweet. Sooner or later, you're going to, sabotage yourself. So, just it's best just to completely stay away from it. Kick it out of your diet completely. All right. Next is that you want to stay away from sugary drinks. Now, I'm kind of a Monster addict, and so I drink the Monster Ultra Zeros. They don't have anything in them. They do have an artificial sweetener. I only drink one a day. I never drink any more than one a day, and maybe it's not the best thing. Maybe I should get away from that. But it satisfies me, and it's a zero. It has no calories. It has nothing in it. And so I'm still doing that. If you have to have some type of a drink like that, and at the moment that's something that I crave and I want. Keep it down to one a day and stay away from dark drinks. So Diet Coke, Diet Dr. Pepper, those things should not be in your diet. Instead, substitute it for something like a Sprite Zero, or I don't even know if they have a 7-Up Zero. But use clear or lightly colored. Don't use dark colored drinks. All right. So stay away from that kind of stuff. Ices. Limit your coffee intake. Caffeine, can create some problems with your diet. I know a lot of us out here in the trucking industry drink a lot of coffee. I've kind of weaned myself off of it. I still drink some coffee every now and again, but it's more of a treat for me rather than a need. So I drink coffee, maybe once or twice a week. Sometimes I'll go into a restaurant and I'll get a breakfast. I don't do that very often, but sometimes I do, and and I'll get a coffee when I do that. Alright, so anyway, as much as possible, stay away from any of the dark colored drinks. Another thing you want to stay away from is high sodium foods. So I'm a very high proponent of eating seeds, sunflower kernels particularly. I buy bags at Walmart, and they're up in the on a kiosk in the vegetable area. They're by a company called Nature's Harvest, and they are shelled sunflower kernels, lightly roasted, and no salt. They have no sodium in them. Right? The sodium intake is important for you, especially if you have high blood pressure. You really want to keep your sodium intake down. So anytime that you're buying a food, you want to look at the sodium content. You think ham is really a pretty good food, and it's pretty good for you, but go look at a ham and look at the sodium content in it. It is astronomically high. So that's not something that you want to include in your diet, especially right off the bat. At least not until you get it under control, because it's astronomically high in sodium. Same thing, if you get, say, almonds, I'm a real big fan of almonds. They've got a lot of really good benefits. They're an antioxidant. They're a brain food. They help feed your brain and help your brain function properly. But don't get the roasted, salted almonds. Just get raw, natural, unsalted almonds. Okay. If you can find any, lightly roasted, unsalted almonds would be good also. But those are very difficult to find and tend to be fairly expensive when you do find them. So I just stick with the unsalted natural almonds. You don't need much of it. They're a little high in fat, so you don't need a whole lot of it. A couple handfuls will usually satisfy you. And then you want to stay away from almost all sweeteners. Now, for a sweetener, one of the things that you can use is honey. Make sure that you use a pure, unadulterated, unfiltered, raw honey. Yes, it's a sweetener, and if you're diabetic, yes, it will cause your blood sugars to spike. However, it is natural, and it has a low glycemic index, meaning that your body will, instead of having a real high spike and then a real low crash, you'll spike and then you'll slowly, use that down, and so your body's able to process it in smaller quantities over a longer period of time. It's a really good sweetener, and it has a lot of healing properties. There's a lot of health benefits associated with honey. So give that a shot. Stay away from any processed foods, as much as possible. Again, we eat out here by convenience, and dieting and getting your weight under control can be quite inconvenient. So I live off sandwiches. Sandwich meat is a processed food, so I'm real careful about what I get. I look at the sodium content, I look at the fat content, I make the best choice I can make, and I work off of a little bit of sandwich meat every now and again. It's not a daily part of my diet, but I do eat them every now and again. So anyway, those are just some hints. Those are some tips, things to stay away from. Boxed foods, canned foods. Try to get that stuff out of your diet as much as possible. If you do pick a canned food, pick something that has no sodium or no salt added. That's what you want to get. So anyway, let me leave it at that. By all means, y'all chime in. Add whatever comments that you'd like to add. Only trying to help. I'm struggling with this just like the rest of y'all are, and it's important, I think, for us to keep our health under control. So until next time, peace out.